Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Parthaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Kratitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashaadhyayini Ambatvamanusandhanami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. Last one. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Sturmanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangapata Kramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः. Where were we? Right at the beginning of a class quiz. Huh? What was that? Ajnatavasa. Yes, correct. So we almost finished with that. So they were incognito for 1 year, and Duryodhana led one border skirmish involving the ownership of some cows. And then what happened? He had miscalculated the time, and even though Arjuna and Yudhishthira came out to defend Virata, king of Virata Pradesha, by that time the year had already passed. And we left at this question. Did they give back the kingdom? No. And even though Dhritarashtra and everybody said this kingdom has to be given back, You can't do this. This is not legitimate. And then what happened? He did not give the kingdom. Therefore, the war had to be fought. Not that, see, people don't understand this properly. A lot of academics who are writing about the Gita think that, that the ancient people of India were bloodthirsty for war. This is not correct. This can't be further away than the truth. It's not that they were bloodthirsty. Every single avenue had been looked at, explored. Avenue for what? Peace, ahimsa, had been looked at, explored completely, and all options were exhausted. And who was the mediator? Bhagavan Krishna was the mediator. If Bhagavan Krishna cannot win and mediate, what to talk of this? But there isn't anything Bhagavan can't do. Why could not Bhagavan Krishna stop the war? This is another very important question people ask. And the answer for that is very simple. Because the war is due to what? Collective and individual karma of the actors. So why can't Bhagavan change the karma? Because Bhagavan is the manifestation of karma. Bhagavan cannot go against Bhagavan. Okay? Yeah, to a certain extent, it can be neutralized and mediated, but the fact of the matter is that at every turn, there is what? Free will. Everybody is using free will. And each time one is making a decision. So if I stay in bed all day, if I enroll in a Vedanta course, long-term Vedanta course, and stay in bed all day and say, Bhagavan made me miss the classes, there is something slightly wrong with this, isn't it? Yeah, because there is free will. That free will, also given by Bhagavan, clashes with the possibilities. And that's exactly what happened here. Lord Krishna went as the mediator. Everybody else also mediated. Dhritarashtra, Drona, everybody said, stop the war, no need to do this, let it not come to this. And then the Pandavas were the most conciliatory. They just said, give us a place where this idiot and his brothers cannot harass us. We just want to live in peace. We don't want all this because, see, if you live 12 years in the forest, there is some effect of that. But even though they started off as very bloodthirsty, 12 years in the forest gave them some shamadama, etc., some vairagya, viveka, and they said, who wants this war? Let's just live in peace. We don't want to too much to do with them. We don't want anything to do with them. And then the elders thought this is very nice. So give them 5 principalities so that they will, 5 areas of the kingdom you give. And 5, what is that called? Municipalities, principalities, whatever the ancient khanda was. 5 khandas you give. Let them live in peace. You don't bother them, they won't bother you. It's an independent kingdom. You will not try any hanky-panky of trying to annex the kingdom. You will leave them free. They will not come and trouble you and just live in peace. What did Duryodhana say? No. Duryodhana said no. Okay, give them 1 khanda with 5 villages. No. Give them 1 village with 5 houses. No. Give them 1 house with 5 rooms. No. Give them 1 room with 5 corners. No. Pentagon, 5 corners. No. Everything he said no. And then he said, don't bother keeping on asking me to do this, this, this. I will not give them as much space as it takes at the tip of a pin. Not tip, the tip of the pin. So the pin, how much space does the pin occupy? No space at all. So that's what I will give them. I won't even give them any space. And that's why the war had to be declared. Because it was now no longer a matter of personal slights, Draupadi's insult or Yudhishthira's insult or the Swabhimana. Swabhimana means the self-respect of Arjuna, etc. It had gone away from these small little things. It had become a dharma conflict. Dharma conflict means it had the situation had escalated to the level of what? To the level of seeing that there was a dharma being done. And what was the adharma? Whatever is rightful, you're not giving. And they got half of it rightfully and they are living there by themselves. And you are not letting them live in peace. You are subjecting them to all kinds of problems, torturing them, trying to take away their wife and trying to take away their property and everything. No peace of mind. You have also taken away their peace of mind. And then what? Now you want a war. You are just scratching, itching for a war. Like the chicken, before it attacks, the hen goes like this in the ground. Before it attacks, they say. So you are scratching for a fight. What is wrong with you? This is not the way to do it. And so that was one component of adharma. Adharma means wrong actions. And then the other component was that Duryodhana et al. Were terrible kings, terrible rulers. What they did to the Pandavas, they were doing to the subjects also, torturing them. And nobody was happy. So when you have a tyrannical king, no one can be happy. So then now it became a global issue. It was not just a local issue of one particular family and a family feud, so to speak. The feud now was no longer a feud. It was a war between dharma and adharma. And being Kshatriyas and being in the right, the Pandavas had a responsibility to restore this dharma by sending these people packing. This is where we are at now. This is at the mouth of the first chapter. We are literally staring at the mouth of the first chapter. This is where we find ourselves. We find ourselves in this on this kind of a. We find ourselves, as they say, on what is wrong. And then what is wrong, khandanam has to be done. We cannot go with what is adharma. We cannot support adharma under any conditions whatsoever be supported. And when we support adharma, what happens is that when adharma is not spoken against, then it just thrives. Not only that, it causes confusion in one's own mind. What is correct? What is right? What should I do? What should I not do? This is what happens. And so adharma always must be decried. And then in ancient India, there was a class of people whose job it was to protect. Brahmanas protected knowledge, that was their job, and the Kshatriyas protected dharma. It's a very interesting division of labor. So, this is exactly why the war broke out. Even Krishna's mediation failed because the free will of the Kauravas, the baddies, the villains of the piece, was much, much more than what even Lord Krishna could. His persuasive powers were no match for their free will and their warmongering, war hunger. So therefore, the war had to be declared. When the war was about to be declared, they knew that they were going to fight. But even in war, there is a war dharma. Not like what is happening currently. When people are sleeping, you just, drop some, what is it called? Smart bombs. The smart bombs are not smart. Bombs are dumb. They are never smart. What do you mean by smart bombs? No, we have to kill only a targeted group of people and that's what we are going to do. But really what happens? All the unintended consequences of those bombs, the people staying there, no. Now we are having war where? In Ukraine there is war. And then in this Middle East also there is war. Horrible. And so only the people know all these things. So there is no such thing called smart bombs. Bombs are bombs, that's all it is. And so therefore, we have to see that though the what we call smart bombs today are no match for what they called mantra powered missiles. The smart bombs may say, okay, we will leave out children, elderly, and only target these people who are doing bad things. Maybe we try to do that because this is for war of dharma. We have to fight, we have to do this. But in those days, smart bomb meant that the person you wanted to give moksha to would have your arrow would have their name written on it. Your arrow would have their name written on it. The arrow or any kind of missiles. And the missiles were two kinds of missiles. One is called Shastra, which you hold and then you use it as a, what is that called, to propel and other things like incendiary devices you just throw like big rocks and everything in the Ramayana war. So you just throw, and that is called astra. Asanatrayate. Astra means it protects after you throw. You flatten the person and with a big rock, and then it has protected you. So, like this, these two things were actually mantra powered missiles. And how did specific missile? How did you get a specific missile with somebody's name on it? Your arch enemy. So your arch enemy's name is on this missile. It is meant for that person only. How did that happen? It was did not come cheap. Oh, very costly? Yes, because you had to sit and chant the mantra powered missile. You had to chant the mantra that would potentize that particular shastra or astra so that it would just go and kill that person. So like this they had. So in other words, dharma also was there in the art of warfare. After dark, no dharma. Women and children were never casualties. And then there were laws, when to fight, when not to fight. And you should not fight if somebody is unarmed. You should not fight against him. That was also there. All these rules were there. So when the war was declared, Lord Krishna was approached both by Arjuna and who is the other fellow? Duryodhana. Both of them went to see him. And Lord Krishna happened to be taking a nap. Not really, as though, okay, because if Bhagavan sleeps, the whole world will go into Pralaya. So Bhagavan is not sleeping, as though sleeping. This is a Leela. So Krishna was resting. Duryodhana, in all his ahankara, came to get from the to rest from the resting Krishna, all his powers. He wanted something. So with all his ahankara, he came and stood at the head of the bed, sat there like this, all taut, all, what's that, heavy weight, yeah. Heavy is the ahankara. He put his ahankara all over the place, sat in the Vivekananda pose without being Swami Vivekananda. So then Arjuna also happened to come, same time. And he reverentially stood at the feet. And there is a Dharma Shastra advice that says, do not disturb a sleeping person. Why? Because you will get papa. You will get bad karma if you disturb a sleeping person. Which is why I don't wake up anybody who is sleeping in class. I allow you to sleep. Why? Because it is your good karma. Or bad, we don't know, but it is your good karma that is giving you sleep. So who am I to interrupt? So, like this, you don't wake up a sleeping person. Dharma Shastra says so. And so, respectfully, he stood, and agitatedly, the other fellow stood. Finally, so if you're lying down like this and you open your eyes, what do you see first? You see towards the field. And he said, Arjuna, Lord Krishna woke up, Arjuna, you're here. How nice to see you. मैं पहले आया. I came first. Oh, Duryodhana, you were also here. Lord Krishna knew they haven't come for chai. They've not come to hang out. You know, chai pe charcha. This is not what is that. This is not what this whole thing is about. They have come to get something out of him. He knew that. He told Duryodhana, hold your horses, sit down, because you may have come first. But where did my eyes go? My eyes saw Arjuna first, and Arjuna will get the first choice of whatever he wants. Duryodhana panicked. Haba, haba, haba. He could inhale, but he could not exhale. He was holding his breath. Why had he come? He wanted the unvanquishable, indomitable Yadava army. Yadava is Krishna's clan. And the Yadava army was such that nobody could kill them. Only one Yadava could destroy another Yadava. So it is even today in Indian politics. Okay? so, so, so Yadavas nobody can touch the Yadavas. And this Yadava army he wanted because he's just a kind of a gross thinker, does not have anything, he does not believe in Adrishya. Adrishya means that which is not anything subtle, anything not met with an objectifiable form. Subtle things like karma, papa, punya, dharma, everything escaped him. He was a gross fellow, pun intended. And then what happened was that he thought, in his mind, in his devious, scheming mind, he thought that army of so many akshauhini means so many battalions, so many units. It can all be mine, and this fellow, I can just do like this, what one does to a mosquito or a fly. I can just, the Pandavas, I can take them out once and for all and be the ruler without any problem. I can just take these people out. That was his thinking. And then when Arjuna got the first chance, he panicked. He didn't know how to pray, never had tried that. He only knew how to pray, Prey, upon the peace of mind of others. If he could have prayed, he would have prayed at this time. Whoever, Kidrishosi, Yadrishosi Mahadeva, however you are, whoever you are, please let him not ask for the Yadava army. Arjuna obliged. Arjuna, when he just opened his eyes, still waiting to exhale, who? Duryodhana. Arjuna was asking a question. Arjuna said to Lord Krishna, I have a simple question. I want you to be with me. Lord Krishna said, that's not possible. I can't fight. Did you not see there is a Swiss flag on my house, meaning we are neutral? So we are totally neutral. We don't fight. I don't fight. No, I don't want you to fight. I'll do all the fighting. You just be with me. You be with me. That's all. And Lord Krishna says, that I can do. Tathastu. And it's very difficult to hang around in the battlefield without doing anything. So that's how Lord Krishna became the Sarathi, Partha Sarathi. Sarathi means chauffeur, driver. That's how he became the driver. And then Duryodhana, ha ha ha. Oh, fantastic. He was ready to give Arjuna a hug. He was so happy. And then he asked, I want the whole Yadava army. Give me, give me, give me. What did Lord Krishna say? Tathastu. So be it, take it. And that's how the war started. And then we have to see that this story is heavily laden with a lot of metaphors, many of those metaphors and symbolisms we already know. Especially if you are familiar with Bhagavad Gita, you already know that. The teaching takes place in a battlefield, Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is what? One's own antahkarana, which is supposed to be Dharma Kshetra, which is supposed to be what? The place where Dharma has to be abide, has to abide. Dharma has to be inside the heart, and then if the Dharma is disturbed, it becomes a place of conflict. And so, therefore, the teaching takes place in the battlefield. It cannot not be in the battlefield because always in the heart there is dharma sankata. Sankata means torment. What should I do? What should I do? Should I follow this? Should I do this? Should I do that? This dharma sankata is there. I know what is correct, but what is not correct is very, very tempting. What to do? Dharma Sankata. And Pujya Swamiji, as Pujya Swamiji would say, it's too bad that everything in life is either illegal or immoral or has too many calories. This is our predicament. It is all happening inside. And then Duryodhana is where? Inside. Duryodhana is inside. A Duryodhana like archetype is inside saying, don't do this. Why? You have to follow Dharma. Who's going to come and look? You just be like me. Pretend you have followed Dharma. Shove all the dust of the Antahkarana under the carpet and then just keep it nice. Everything looks nice. Do whatever you want underneath. There is one creature, so to speak, who is keeping on saying that, but that itself makes one sad because the natural proclivity, the natural preference, the natural predilection is to do what is right. If that is inhibited by one's own raga and dvesha, because the whole Bhagavad Gita is the raga dvesha psychology, if that is inhibited or disturbed in any way, then the voice of Bhagavan in the form of Dharma is what? Trampled. And Adharma rises. Adharma rises not only in the world but within each heart. When the Adharma quotient rises in each heart, collectively also it becomes an adharmic world. Which is when Lord Krishna promised he will come each time Dharma is in peril. So why is Bhagavan not here yet? Huh? How much worse does it have to get? Why is Bhagavan not here yet? Because he was about to come, but he saw that the 3-month course where the Bhagavad Gita we are studying has started. He said, let me have a coffee break. They are all fine. That's why there is no Bhagavan right now here. Bhagavan is very much there. But we are the ones who are here looking to see how to clarify the Antahkarana more and more. Let the impurities settle and dissipate so that the inner Duryodhana, Dushasana, etc., just die a natural death. Death by starvation. That is what is the program. But that cannot happen by oneself. For that we need help. And the help is in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. So this is the main metaphor. and the main metaphor. So you can see Duryodhana, Dushasana are negative archetypes. And then we have Yudhishthira, a very positive archetype, but there is something to learn. He is inflexible. And the one that is inflexible comes to peril. There should be flexibility. Sometimes some things have to be said. Like even Lord Rama, who is the embodiment of Dharma, is telling a lie in the in the Ramayana. What does he say? As the mantri means what? Minister. As the minister is driving him away to the forest, him, goddess Sita, and brother Lakshmana are going to the forest Pitruvakya Paripalanartham in order to keep the vow of Dasharatha given to Kaikeyi, the boons, and then Dasharatha calls out first to Rama, come back, come back. Rama does not heed. Then Dasharatha addresses the mantri. If you value your neck, come back. Otherwise, decapitation you will be met with. Come back. And the mantri is in a very big crisis because Rama says, go faster, go, 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 don't go back. And Dasharatha says, this is an order, an edict of the king, come back. And the mantri falters, he doesn't know what to do. And then Rama tells him, keep going forward. And mantri says, it's nice for you to say you have a one-way ticket to the forest. I have to come back. I'm a family man. My children will be orphaned. What is this? No, no, no. He says, nothing will happen to you. My father has a kind heart. You just tell him you could not hear his orders above the hoofs and the dust raised by the chariot and the horses, and above the wailing, the crying, loud lamentation of the people of Ayodhya. Is this a lie? Brazen lie. He, Rama, who is the embodiment of Dharma, tells him to tell a brazen lie. Why? Because the fine print will tell us the reason. He says, neither my father nor the people of Ayodhya can withstand another painful farewell. Go, I must. I cannot stay here. I have to go. And then going means I have to go. So may as well go now. Because I don't want to put the population, the praja, the subjects, to another set of lamentations. So you see, he is the embodiment of dharma because there is flexibility in interpretation. In Dharmaputra, in Yudhishthira, we don't find that flexibility. And Arjuna also again a very positive archetype, but very conflict averse we find, especially with the people he loved. We find that. And he has a dysfunctional relationship with his family, which is why the Bhagavad Gita is needed. Why? Because every jiva has a dysfunctional relationship with their family. Simple. Everybody is in the same boat until the Bhagavad Gita, until Vedanta is encountered. Dysfunctional relationship means what? A relationship based on obligations. I have some expectations of you, says one person, and the other person feels burdened by the expectations and feels guilty about not being able to meet them. And then sometimes one person is guilty and the other person is hurt, and Bhagavan makes a match, the two get married. Guilty marries hurty. So, and for the guilty person, cannot stop apologizing, and for the hurt person, no matter how much you apologize, it's never enough. These are all the examples of dysfunctional relationship based on obligation, based on certain secrecy, based on abuse that is hidden, based on some kind of a power play, based on personality disorders like narcissism, borderline personality disorders. So many things are there. We can't, we'll have to read the whole book of it's called DSM, diagnostic and statistic manuals of all these disorders. All that, samsara is within the person. Samsara is expressed within families. So too we see that Arjuna had a dysfunctional relationship with the Kauravas. Why? We'll see in detail when we start the chapters. Because he doesn't want to fight them. Why? Because they are my people. This is the problem. They are my people, and then when I have them, when I am with them, even though they are bashing me up, I feel good. Is this functional or dysfunctional? Dysfunctional. Naturally. Here they are bashing you up and you say, more, more, give me more. Some kind of a masochistic relationship. What is this? Or either that, or he has what is called Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, Stockholm syndrome means, long back, in I think 1922 or 23, I forgot, there was the Bank of Stockholm was completely hijacked, and some hostages were taken by the robbers. So for 36 hours, they had hostage, maybe even few more the details, but for a long time, they hostage negotiations, and the police were there. The police could not go inside because they said they will kill the hostages. So the gun or the knife was pointing towards the neck and the head of the hostages, and the hostages were there. And then finally, there was some distraction created. The police went in and caught hold of the robbers, these terrible people, and 5, 6 people who were being held hostages, to the surprise of the police, were begging them to not catch them. No, they were nice. How were they nice? They were holding the gun to your head. Can you imagine being for 36 hours with a gun on your forehead? How much terror that might have caused? Yeah, but they gave me water and gave me a slice of bread. This is called Stockholm syndrome. And it happens when one is going through such an oppression that even in the oppressor himself, herself, somehow one looks to the oppressor to save them from that very oppression. And we clearly see that Arjuna has a mild case of Stockholm syndrome. We see that. And then that is the first level of symbolism. And then the most important symbolism I have saved till the last. Lord Krishna joining Arjuna. That, you can say Krishna was like a mentor figure because he didn't know it was Bhagavan. He did not know that the one who is Bhagavan does not advertise, I am Bhagavan. And so therefore, he did not know that. He just thought it's some kind of a loving uncle, mentor type figure who has been always in my life and giving me good advice, loving me completely. This is what it is, he thought. But then what happened is this, that there was a whole another scenario taking place, because when you look deeper, Bhagavan is on your side means what? Even a non-fighting Bhagavan, just the presence itself means Daivam is with me. Bhagavan's grace is with me. And what is Bhagavan's grace? The hidden variable. There are so many variables. Like we see Duryodhana scheming. Okay, what should be done? How should I poison these people? What should I do? How should the war be held? How can I just go under the rules and do something? How can I ambush them? How can I do guerrilla warfare? He's scheming. He's scheming only on the empirical level, on the level of object-subject relationships. But then here, in choosing Bhagavan, what Arjuna had a master stroke, because he's taking care of unknown or hidden variables. In every situation, there are known and hidden variables. Take a simple example, going for job interview. So you go for the job interview and there is a room full of people, and then what? somebody else gets the job. Even though you are a very good candidate, even though you have prepared very well, somebody else got the job. Even though you were there first, still somebody else got the job. What makes that difference? It is called the hidden variable Daivam. Daivam. And this is what we see again and again. It is inexplicable. In this 911 attack, there are some people who were supposed to be on one of those planes that were hijacked and crashed. There were some people who were supposed to be on the planes, but then there was a story of one man who had a slight cold. It wasn't, big enough to not to travel, but it was a slight cold. And he happened to call his mother that day. Mother was living in some other city. And then he said, Mom, I don't feel too good. How are you, son? I don't feel, maybe I'm coming down with a, don't travel today, mother. And he said, no, ticket, everything is there. Can't that be changed? She asked. Then he thought about it. He said, he didn't go because he was kept alive. Everybody else who took the flight was gone. And same way, some people were supposed to go and work in that World Trade Center. They absented themselves for some reason or the other. And then the people who were there all succumbed. This is how Daivam works. Daivam means finding oneself in the right place at the right time. Very difficult to engineer on one's own. This is Daivam. Finding oneself in the right place at the right time on the right occasion is very difficult to engineer without Bhagavan's help. And therefore, this here, in choosing Lord Krishna, he just assured that all the hidden variables were on his side. And what about the known variables? That also is controlled by Bhagavan only. Who else is it controlled by? That's also controlled by Bhagavan. Unknown variables, who controls that? Bhagavan. And known variables, he has got buddhi. He himself can see what to do. It doesn't mean that he is just sitting back. He is also fighting. He is himself fighting. But Krishna is where? In the front of the chariot or the back? Front of. Every arrow has to go through him. Every arrow has to go through him to hit Krishna, Arjuna. How dare it pass through him? Nothing will pass through him. It was like a big shield of protection. And then, what else? Then there was another missile, Astra, with Arjuna's name on it. It was called Nagastra, snake missile, which Karna, we have to say a little bit about Karna, and then we will conclude this whole symbolism part. So this Nagastra was deployed by Karna. And then what happened? When he threw the missile, Lord Krishna dips the chariot a little bit so that it just hits the crown and knocks it off. There is insult, but no injury. And once it has hit, it cannot be deployed again without years and years of mantra. It had to be potentized again. It has to be charged with the mantra. And so, like this, Arjuna finds himself protected at all times, and therefore he has success. And that's what the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita says. Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shrihi Vijayo Bhudihi, Dhruva Nitir Matir. So, where there is a magician, Yogeshwara, magician, a magician, Bhagavan-like figure called Lord Krishna, and where there is a loyal student, an alert and loyal and prepared student like Partha, who is the Dhanurdhara, means the wielder of the Dhanuhu, Dharma. A dharmic student, a loyal student, a prepared student, where it is there, tatra, three things are assured. Shrihi, abundance. No scarcity anywhere, no scarcity in the heart, no scarcity in life. Vijaya. Vijaya means what? Victory. Victory on all fronts is assured. And bhutihi. Bhutihi again means all kinds of resources are with the person, says Sanjaya. This is definite, Dhruva. This is the niti. This is niyati. This is a law. This is the law of life, is that the presence of Bhagavan, when you invoke Bhagavan's presence, when you invite Ishvara into your life in the form of the object of devotion, everything goes very well. Success is assured. This is something which is very nice. We see this in this symbolism, very important symbolism. Now, we forgot one archetype, which is Karna. Karna was, as a baby, flowed in the river downstream, where he was adopted by charioteer parents. And he felt like a misfit or Mr. Fit, whichever it was. So he felt like a total misfit. He could not play with the charioteer boys because he thought, oh, I just don't have anything in common with them. The wavelength did not match. And then he would longingly look at the palace. And then he tried to go there once or twice as a young man, as a young boy. And he was told, no, you can't do this. He went to Drona to get archery lessons. And Drona, who himself was a Brahmana and then had gone to Kshatriya, what is its name? Kshatriya occupation of teaching and practicing archery, said, I cannot teach you because you are Sutaputra, charioteer, lowly charioteer's son. Away with you, off with you. He saw that as an insult. He saw many other things as an insult. And then Duryodhana was waiting for this kind of a situation. Anybody, anybody, the enemy of your enemy is what? Your friend. Anybody slightly disgruntled, he would wait at the gates of the palace and make his move, charming them, taking them out for a drink, slapping them on the back. And Karna wanted all this. He wanted to be included. It's amazing what we will do to be so-called included. It's amazing. We'll even join a pack of thieves because we are feeling included. Because the primary feeling of a jiva is I am left out. Nobody loves me. Nobody tells me anything. Nobody wants me as part of the circle. This is a very big and a universal wound, a gaping wound. It is a universal wound. Karna is no exception. In fact, it was wound with mirchi masala on top because, with garam masala on top of this wound, it was a gaping wound which was constantly being activated because he was confused. He said, why? I look like them, but I can't be part of them. And I don't look like these people. And then I'm supposed to be with these people. He had high tastes. He wanted to go and stay in five-star hotels. He wanted to go to the best of restaurants and bars and everything. No money. And so what to do? He feels very flattered when Duryodhana befriends him, takes him to the local pub, and then tells all kinds of wrong things. Because when one is under the influence, this is what happens. One is not thinking properly. This is what is in between the clinking of the glasses and saying cheers. He brought him to tears. This is what he did. He says, you know what? You are a prince. You are Rajakumara. You are supposed to have this kind of an education. You are supposed to have, look at how nice my coat is. See, feel it. It is velvet with real gold embroidery. You also would have deserved. You are just in rags. In fact, Kunti, she is the one. She is the one who just abandoned you. Can any mother do that? Like this, he befriended him on the one hand and just used him as a pawn by bad mouthing the Pandavas all the time. Therefore, he became inimical. He became totally inimical. Duryodhana did the same thing to Dronacharya also. And the other Acharya, Kripacharya, another warrior was there, and he did the same thing to them. He saw that there was some kind of a disgruntled feeling. And what was Drona's weakness? Drona was wanting money. That's what. Why? Because he had a son in whose heart Drona's heart was. Drona lived because of his son. What was the name? Ashwathama. And then one day what happened is in some yajna, they went to some yajna, and then there they were supposed to distribute milk and other things. And some person thought of an ugly joke, and then maybe Ashwathama was also sitting there. And what did they give him? They gave him rice powder with water and said, "Drink, beta, this is milk." The child didn't know, the child drank it, but the father knew. Drona said, "How outrageous this is! This is terrible. I want a better life for my son so he can actually drink real milk." And so what happened? He went to Drupada. Who is Drupada? Draupadi's daddy. Yes, he went to Drupada and he said, "Please give me money. Please adopt this child as yours." And Drupada said, Drupada was a very proud person, dharmic but proud. He said, "What is this? Can't you just do this yourself? And I don't have time for all this. And don't come begging to me." Caught him at the wrong time. And that gripe, Duryodhana took full advantage of and made him over to his side. Like this, he made every person Kripa also. He made everybody obligated to him. It was a relationship of obligation. They all felt obliged to fight. And Bhishma felt obliged to fight because he too, like Yudhishthira, was all about principles. He didn't see the person, he saw the principles. He said, "I have to defend Hastinapura." But this Hastinapura is is in the hand of gargoyles. How can you defend this? It's in the hands of monsters. No, no, no. I will stand by the kingdom. Therefore, he joined the side of Drona. But then all that, the big army, all the elders going to the wrong side, nothing mattered. Why? Because Arjuna had the main thing that matters, which is Daivam. He had Daivam on his side. The grace of the Lord was with him. The hidden variables were all covered. And so therefore, no harm could come. One more thing about the archetype in the form of Karna. Karna was supposed to be a great giver. Great giver. This we see very well connected to his childhood, because what was his childhood full of? Deprivation and non-inclusion. So the giving was a coping mechanism. By giving, what will I become? I will become included. I will become known. I will become popular. People will love me. This was his way of getting love. And he kept giving, 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 giving. He even gave away his earrings, which were attached to his ears. Somebody cut off his ears and took the earrings also in his last moments. And then finally, as he was lay by his chariot, which was stuck in the mud, breathing his last breaths are coming. And one greedy Brahmana comes to him and says, "Can I have your punya? Can I have all the good karma you have got by giving so much?" And Karna cannot be bothered anymore. He just says, "Take," and breathes his last. So when we look at these archetypes, we recognize ourselves in each of these archetypes to a greater or lesser degree, and we see that that is what has to be corrected. You have to be in a place of receptivity, and we have to be in a place of flexibility. We get this from the archetypes. So now, the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Yoga here is not what you do at 5 o'clock. Okay? Yeah. It is not asana. What is yoga here? Topic, Sangati. The word yoga has many meanings. 3 meanings are there. One is in the sense of restraint. And in the sense of restraint. Yuj, it all comes from the root verb yuj. Somehow yuj, yujir, like that, which somehow turn into the word yoga after applying the Sanskrit suffix called ghanj. So, first is yujir samyame, in the sense of discipline, restraint. Samyame. And then the next meaning of the word yoga is samyame nirodhe. Yuj nirodhe. Nirodhe means stopping. And the second sutra in the Yoga Sutra is what? Yogaschitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is cessation of thoughts. At least that's how they look at it. We can look at it properly Vedantically, but this is not the place to teach the Yoga Sutras. So, then the last meaning is yuj sanyoge or sangatau, meaning it is joining. It is in the sense of joining, it is in the sense of restraint, it is in the sense of what? Stopping. It is also in the sense of, here, joining means the topic. It's the topic. The name of the chapter is called Yoga when it occurs at the end. When it occurs at the end, the name of the topic is called Yoga. So Arjuna Vishada Yoga means the topic that unfolds the nature of Arjuna's affliction, the nature of Arjuna's grief. This is what it is. So then, without much ado, let us chant. Dharma Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samavetayutsavaha Mamakav Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Uvacha means had his lunch. Correct? I'm just checking to see if people are awake. What does Uvacha means? Spoke. Past passive. Uvacha, lit, parokshe. Long time ago, spoke, said. Dhritarashtra said. Who is this Dhritarashtra? Blind king. Another archetype. Blinded by moha, delusion about the nature of his sons. Willfully blinded, both the parents. Not able to see the wrong in their own children. This is another archetype. So Dhritarashtra, this Dhritarashtra said. Said to whom? Sanjaya. Who is Sanjaya? A person who is gifted with some kind of a telepathy. Television and telepathy, both. He had a siddhi of being able to see the war even though he was the personal attendant to Dhritarashtra. Because everybody else went to fight. Blind king cannot go to fight. So he is sitting in the palace, but the war, blow by blow, account of the war is being brought to him like our sports commentators. Yeah, like cricket commentators, sports commentators. Yes, this is going to be a sixer. Oh no, bowled out. Like this. Every minute he's being told what is happening. And then Sanjaya is gifted with this vision and with this television, and then he is describing. So before he describes, Dhritarashtra asked, what is happening? Where? Dharma Kshetre. In this Punya Kshetra called Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is the name. Where is it? Yeah, right outside of Delhi. So, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetra. So, Dharma Kshetra, why? Because the battle for Dharma is being waged. In Dhritarashtra's mind, he is on the side of Dharma. His children are dharmic. He thinks, even though he knows better, he just wants them to win. So, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samavetaha, assembled. Those that are assembled. Who are the ones that is assembled? Yuyutsavaha. Yuyutsa, yodhum ichha. The desire to fight is called yuyutsa. Right in line with all the words we know right now. Mumuksha, jignasa, like this. And so, yuyutsa. Yuyutsa, desire to fight. Yuyutsuhu, the one who is desirous of fighting. Do you see the difference? Yuyutsa, desire to fight. Yuyutsuhu, the one who is desirous of fighting is called Yuyutsuhu. So Yuyutsuhu means desirous of fighting. Yuyutsuhu, Yuyutsu, Yuyutsavaha. Yuyutsavaha therefore is many people who are desirous of fighting. Otherwise, why else will you go stand in a battlefield? You're not there as a bystander, nobody goes. Because if you go as a bystander, you have to add one more by. Bye. That's what. You will be a bystander. You will not be a bystander anymore. Some arrow will hit. So nobody goes to gawk at the war and see what is happening. Nobody goes out of kutuhala. If you are in the battlefield, what does it mean? You are desirous of fighting. So samavetaha yuyutsavaha, ye yuyutsavaha samavetaha, where? Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. In this battlefield called Kurukshetra, where the battle of Dharma is taking place, who these people who are desirous of fighting, up till now he's being kind of objective. And then what? Then the subjectivity comes. Mamakaha. My own people. My own people was what? Did not Arjuna play in his lap? Did not Yudhishthira pull at his beard when they were small? They were all so close. They were just one with him. Everybody was close to him. Now the battle line, now that the battle lines are drawn, 5 people and then other Pandavas, those Pandavas. Why? And others. This is the problem. As soon as the word mine is used, we see subjectivity entering. Subjectivity is entering. And of course, you can use the word. You can possess. You can own many things. In whose name is this house? You can say it's in my name. Nothing wrong. There is a difference between ownership, which is an objective fact, and possession, which is a subjective fact. The word possession means what? You are possessed by it. You are obsessed by it, you are possessed by it, whether it's a person or a thing. And Dhritarashtra was possessed by the grief and the anxiety of the welfare of his sons. He knew that Arjuna was a great warrior. And so he says, Mamakaha, Pandavas Chaiva, and those Pandavas, Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. Oh Sanjaya, what are they doing? Please tell me. I'm eager to know. Turn on your television. Yeah. Turn on your television, telepathy, see what is happening, and please report to me. This is the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita. The other day, studying the Viveka Chudamani for the first class, I told you that every work has to have should begin with a prayer. Something is afoot. Because there is a prayer. Prayer is of 2 types. One can be an overt prayer, like the ones. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. That is overt prayer. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Guru. Overt prayer. But there are sometimes covert prayers. Lord Vyasa, somebody of Lord Vyasa's stature, will never begin a work of this importance without a prayer. This much we should know. So there is a hidden prayer. What's the first word in the Bhagavad Gita? Read. Look in the book. After that. No, that somebody else put. Yeah. Are we agreed? What is the first word? Dhritarashtra. Yeah. Dhritarashtra is the local king's name, but it's also a name for Bhagavan. It is a name for Bhagavan. Dhritam Rashtram Yena. Rashtra here doesn't mean country, by which the whole Jagat is by whom, by which force, by which Lord, the whole entire Jagat is held, sustained, nurtured. Already there is a salute to Bhagavan right in the first. Like this, we find hidden prayers even in the Paninian Sutras. Vriddhiradaich, first sutra. Vriddhirajaich, At and Aich, they are two, he's talking about a grammatical operation of the strengthening of certain vowels. That is applicable to certain vowels. And the name for that operation is called Vriddhi. Taught in the grammar. In the grammar, we talk about the first. We talk about the second level of strengthening. The first level of strengthening is called guna. Nothing to do with rajas tamas. Okay? Yeah, guna, technical term, technical name. And the second level of strengthening is called vriddhi. So how should he have approached? He should have said Aden Gunaha first. No? What does he say? The sutra that he says first is Vriddhiradai. He's also taking the literal meaning of the word Vriddhi. May it grow. May this book grow exponentially so that it is completed. May it be read. May it be understood and assimilated. Was his prayer successful? Yes, because we are talking about it now. People are studying now. Was the Bhagavad Gita prayer successful? Yes. Didn't have breakfast today? Yes. Bhagavad Gita covert prayer was also very, very, very successful. Extremely successful. And so Dhritarashtra Uvacha. And then we speed through a few things because at this rate we will have to be here for 3 years if we take it at this speed. And so we will just summarize a few things and go. So, and then tomorrow I will give you the gist of it. I will tell you which verses and how. I will give you some summary so that you can go back and when you read it in detail, it will make much more sense. So then Sanjaya talks. And what does he say? He says that, what is happening in the battle is that having seen the battle formations, Anikam means army. Drishtva tu Pandavanikam and Vyudham. Vyudha is also another battle formation. Having seen the battle formations of what? Pandavas and the Kauravas, both of them, Duryodhana also, Acharyam Upasangamya. Acharyam Upasangamya means having gone to the Acharya. Who is the Acharya? Dronacharya. Because the Duryodhana need not have gone to Drona. But he wanted to please him. Oh, you are the eldest. Let me touch your feet. As the battle is beginning, tell me how the formations are. Which army is strong? Look, we have 18 Akshavinis and they have only 11 units. We have 18 units. Isn't it wonderful? See, it's not easy to fight a battle because you're going into the mouth of death, or you could be. So therefore, the soldiers, you have to have a rallying cry. You have to make animal-like noises. You have to beat your chest and say ra ra ra, and then whip up some energy. It's not in one's nature to do this. One is going against one's nature. So he just wants to make sure that Dronacharya is happy. Acharyam Upasangamya Raja. You see, illegitimate but still king, illegal king. But to please Dhritarashtra, he says Raja Vachanam Abravit. Raja said these following words. After this, what should be there? Duryodhana Uvacha. No, the Shruti will never give direct speech. Anywhere you look in any Upanishad, to those who are not worthy of it. To those who go against Dharma, the Shruti will never give them the privilege of direct speech. Same thing happens when Indra, the king of gods, and Virochana, the king of demons, approach Prajapati for the knowledge. Both of them say, we want to know the Atma. Atma, apahata papma, that which is not subject to papa. Of course, the Devas want to know that because they have a clear antakarana. But alas, even the Asuras want to know that because they have done so much papa, they want to know how to be free of papa. So they also want to know. So Virochana goes, Indra goes, both go to Prajapati for the sake of the knowledge, and both bow down, and we see only Indra talking. Virochana is not even given one word to say. He's more or less a shadow figure. That is again also rife with a lot of symbolism. Maybe some other time it will come it will be more relevant to talk about. So, but now he says, just to summarize, he says that Duryodhana goes to Drona and says, our army is better. Our army is more equipped. Our army is aparyaptam. Aparyaptam means limitless. And in fact, the truth was that even though he had the Yadava army, Duryodhana was so insecure that he bullied just roadside people, just youth who were just not even shaving yet. He just got them to stand there as fodder for the thing. They had never known what the army was. They couldn't even button their jackets properly. They were just standing there, not knowing what to do. And then he was very proud because he could not, he thought he was leaving no stone unturned for this victory. And then he thought he's just going to win. So he was, what is that? He had OCD, Duryodhana. He was wanting to do overkill. Overkill means over prayer. So here, the first portion of the first chapter is Duryodhana describing how wonderful it is. How wonderful it is that his army is better and everything, and then more we'll see. Tomorrow I will give a layout of the chapter so you know what are the subject matters to study and then how it unfolds and which verses talk about what. So that way you'll have a summary. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ